Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 2nd of January 2019. So welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's afternoon session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few charts, the usual. But before we start looking at that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Now then, guys, so let's quickly jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the FTSE MIB, so the Italian index. So looking at this, of course, looking at the overall picture here, you can see that it's still kind of moving below this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 7th of May here. So this medium-term downside resistance line kind of continues to show the direction where this index is heading as well. You can see that since the end of October, it was also trading within this little range here between the 18,420 on the downside and on the upside the 19,630 area, approximately there. So, but then it got broken here in December. In the last days of December, it broke it to the downside and kind of, in a way, started moving lower. But you can see that the 17,950 level played out as a very nice area of support. And today, the index is kind of struggling to overcome this support area, and just kind of show you what that level was here back in where it is. There we go. Back in 2016, and that was the high that we saw here around the 23rd of June. So quite an important level. Previously, of course, in June it acted as a nice area of resistance, but now you can see that it's acting as a very nice area of support. So in a way, we're going to continue monitoring that one. If this gets broken, if this 17,000 level, 17,950 level gets broken, then, well, the next potential area of support could be here near the 17,420 zone, and that area was a very nice area of resistance here back in October and September of 2016. So this time, of course, it will take the role of support, but only if we get a nice drop here below this 17,950 level. So, but at the moment you can see that the bulls are kind of really fighting strongly not to let this index drop below it. And of course, if this suddenly, let's say, drives back above this little area here, the low of the previous range where it was trading in before, so that was the 18,420 level. So a nice good push back above it could open the path towards these higher levels, and this is where we're going to aim for the 19,225 zone, approximately there, marked by the high of this 13th of December, or even actually going all the way higher here to test not only the upper side of this range, this previous range, of course, but also this downside, this medium-term downside resistance line here that has been running here for quite a while. So yep, keep on monitoring this one. For now, guys, be very careful, and wait for a confirmation break, and then we'll aim for different areas here. Of course, on the upside, I'm talking about the 18,420 level. Keep an eye on that one. A nice good pop above this could open the path towards these higher levels, but on the downside, the 17,950 level, this is what we're keeping an eye on. As I said before, a nice good drop below this could open the path towards much lower levels. Jumping into gold. Now, gold is a very interesting one here. Of course, continues to push higher today, but managed to reach the area around the 1288, 89, something like that, approximately there. But you can see that it's kind of slightly retracing back down. Now, what we're going to keep an eye on here is this little area. Let me just kind of drag this place it more accurately here a little bit. So this is where we're keeping an eye on, this 1284 zone. So if this basically remains below this 1284 today, there is, and it's of course the chances of maybe seeing a bit of a retracement here back down towards this steep upside support line here taken from the lows of the 28th of November. The chances are becoming greater, of course, because like I said, it will struggle to overcome this and stay above the 1284, and this could be seen maybe a bit of a sign of weakness for gold, and we could see maybe this one traveling a little bit lower, maybe like I said, potentially testing this little short-term, very short-term steep upside support line taken from the lows of the 28th of November. But that's of course in the scenario if this 1284 continues to hold. Now if it, of course, if this one stays above it, if it stays above the 1284, certainly the momentum is still to the upside, and we could continue targeting the psychological 13 level, or even actually going all the way here towards this 1302.50 area approximately there, and then this line here kind of marks the opening price of 2018. So could be an interesting area for a test, but for now, guys, all eyes are on the 1284. Let's see how that plays out today, because like I said, it is quite extended to the upside, and looking at the daily chart, our oscillators here are also kind of suggesting that it's slightly overbought here, but so we could maybe see a bit of a correction here to the downside and then another push higher later on, of course. So just keep that an idea in your head. Looking at USDCHF now, this one, looking at this daily chart, you can see how nicely it's popping here to the upside. Certainly we're going to continue monitoring it. At the moment it's kind of testing this 0.9892 level, so it's acting as a nice area of resistance, and to be honest, it's looking quite interesting, to be honest. I mean, because it's trying to push higher. Certainly the fact that it's still trading above this this kind of in a way long-term upside support line taken from the lows of the 16th of February, you can see that it kind of fell shy, well, of reaching it. It just kind of it still has a bit of room here for the downside, of course, but we're seeing now that it's kind of trying to travel higher, and if it fails to overcome, oh, let me just it's a bit in the way. So basically, guys, this is what I'm talking about here. So if it fails to kind of drive the drive above this little in a way short-term downside resistance line, we could see maybe another leg of selling here, which eventually could lead towards a retest of this upside support line that I was just talking about. So keep your eyes on this one. Of course, it is picking up the momentum right now nicely, but if it fails to kind of drive above this downside resistance line, then, well, could see, like I said, another leg of selling here, and we could see another move lower. So keep your eyes on this one. It's a very interesting pair, but even if, let's say, if this gets broken here, if this downside resistance line gets broken, still for us to kind of start aiming for much higher levels, a better confirmation could be seen here around the 0.9960 level. A nice good break above this could then send this pair a little bit higher here towards the psychological 1 level, or even going higher. But for now we're just gonna take it as it is and continue monitoring this little short-term downside resistance line. If it holds, we could see maybe a bit of selling here again and driving this one back towards this upside support line, this long-term upside support line that has been running here from the February lows. Jumping into GBPAUD, now this is a very interesting one, and let me just jump into a 4-hour chart on this one. Now, looking at this one, you can see that the it kind of is flirting right now with this this upside, this short-term upside support line taken from the lows of the 11th of December. It's going to be very interesting to see if it actually stays here below this upside line, or actually is going to stay above it. Now, certainly for us to get comfortable with aiming for higher levels here, we need to see this one rebounding and moving back above this pivot line here, and this pivot here is around the 1.8090 level approximately. approximately there. So a nice good push above that could open the path towards back towards these highs here, towards, well, actually today's highs, near the 181.90, and if that doesn't hold, well, further acceleration to the upside could be possible, and this is where we'll aim for the R2 here, which is around the 182.35, or even actually going higher. But to be honest, I mean, if it rebounds here today, I doubt that we could see these highs. So probably it's gonna hang around here. Just they're gonna tease all the traders here, and if of course it will tease it till the end of the day probably. So keep your eyes on this one. Be very cautious. Be very patient. In terms of, let's say, if this starts breaking it. Now, in order to kind of be more on the safe side from the near-term perspective in terms of the downside, you would probably need to wait until this gets below here, below this little area of support here near the 179.50, and this way a nice good break below that could open the path towards slightly lower levels, where we could then aim for the 178.50, or even actually going much lower. But for now, let's continue monitoring this this upside support line. Of course, it's a very short term. We could, like I said, a break below this could of course drag it a little bit lower, maybe test this little support zone near the 178.50, and then maybe rebound and push back up again. But of course we'll get to that stage. If we'll get to that stage, we'll evaluate this pair again. So for now, continue monitoring this upside support line. Let's see if it bounces, if the pair actually bounces off of it or not, and if it stays below this, and if it closes the daily candle below this line, then, well, like I said, further declines could be possible. So keep your eyes on this. Looking at the Euro GBP now, this is a very interesting one right now, and since the since the first half of December, let's put it that way, it continues to trade within this little range here between the 0.8950 on the downside and the 0.9070 on the upside. So let me just quickly actually mark that for our future reference here. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. Basically, it's a very interesting range here. Certainly we did have our breakthroughs here. You can see that we had an overshoot here and an undershoot here and here as well. So basically, but still, it kind of continues to trade within the boundaries of this, and in a way this is what we're going to keep on monitoring, at least for the near term, because if this starts dropping below the 0.8950, now this of course will raise some concerns about the potential of the upside. Certainly, of course, at the same time would place the pair below the 200 EMA here, shown as the black line. So this kind of, all this could add up into more of a bearish sentiment, and this is when we could then target the 0.8885 or even lower. But for now, until we're kind of trading here, certainly we're going to continue monitoring these boundaries here. So a nice good pop here over through the upper side of it, through the 0.9070 level, of course could potentially drag the rate towards the 0.91 level. But if the 0.91 doesn't hold, well, we do have a nice good potential area of resistance here near the 0.92 level. So I'm just going to show you what that level was here in the past. You can see that it played out nicely as a nice area of resistance here on the 8th of September 2017. So could be a nice potential target here, but again, only if we get a nice pop here initially above the 0.9070, and then of course we clear the 0.91 level. So for now, continue monitoring this range. Probably don't rush into it yet. Wait for a confirmation break. And the last pair I want to quickly touch on, and that's Aussie dollar. Now the Aussie dollar here, certainly kind of getting hit here today. Looking at this daily chart, you can see it managed to break this key important area of support near the 0.7022 level. Last time it was tested here, or sorry, should I say last time it was tested, of course, in December, but in October also it was tested, from which kind of the pair bounced and pushed higher. So in a way, this is what we were keeping a close eye on, and now this confirms that there could be some more downside. This is where we're going to aim for the 0.6970 level, and the 0.6970, just going back way back into history here, just to show you what that level was here, and it was marked near the lows of near the lows of February 2016. So quite an interesting level this one becomes. So the 0.6970, so keep on monitoring that. If If that gets broken, of course, this opens the path towards the lows that we saw here back in January 2016. So that was approximately around the 0.6830 level. So certainly keep your eyes on that one. Could be a nice potential area of support. But then again, like I said, I'll repeat myself, we need to see a good break below the 0.6970 level first, and then we'll target this 0.6830 level, the lowest point of January 2016. If, let's say, this reverses back up here and pushes back above the 0.7085 level, now this is where you could start potentially looking at higher levels, and of course this is where we could aim for the 0.7150 and higher. But to be honest, for now it seems that the downside could be slightly off the table. Okay guys, I hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. I'll have to wrap it up here, and I hope you have a fantastic trading day. For those who are still trading, for those who are finished for today, have a wonderful evening guys, and I'll see you tomorrow at my Traders Espresso at 7 o'clock GMT time. Thank you very much, and bye bye.